43.
Yeah, 43.
43?
Because 42 was the Royal Rumble episode.
Royal Rumble.
What happened on that one?
Wow.
Huh?
That sounds like something happened on that one.
Yeah, no, we just we was talking about the Royal Rumble tonight, WWE.
Oh, got it.
We actually did it with another podcast, Wrestle Rap.
So it was a crossover podcast?
Yeah, it was a crossover, yeah.
Got it.
So, you know, we do things like that sometimes.
Trying to get,
Can I get a mic
their
check?
listeners to jump on.
You two over here, can you guys speak into the mic? Especially you, I haven't heard you speak to the mic. Make sure.
Hello?
Perfect, good. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you sound far away, but you was just leaning back.
Yeah.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Cool, so I'm gonna count you guys down and hit record. Is there anything else you need? You look hesitant.
No.
I'm
just
Nah, that's just how
I'm
you
just trying to remember.
Don't worry about that. That's just Mr.
I'm just trying
John
to remember
Green.
what episode this is. That's all.
Okay, so since you guys are doing straight audio, I won't be in here this whole time.
Okay.
But I'm gonna shoot you a text, so that if anything happens, I'm in the building, I'm not like this.
Okay.
You know.
She was
So I'll count you guys down.
busy. Was
Let me
good.
give me.
Prince, what's your IG?
Fox. Prance Low 24/7. Yes, sir.
John, what's yours?
Polo Parata.
Dexter, had a good time with your cousin. Enjoying
P-I-R.
the good. Safe travels.
Okay.
Atlanta. I'm on my live, but we're about to start the show. Look at our new home.
So this is 100% where you going forward?
Yeah, look, yeah, cause actually, yeah, it's dope, man.
It looked like that's gonna be it.
It has enough space for everybody.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, so I'm gonna count you guys down. Okay.
Okay.
So in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Estás bien? This has been there, Rock That, episode 43. Como você estás? Prince.
What's good, brother?
How was your week?
Yo, my week was blessed, you know what I mean? Focused, real busy. I was out in the streets again.
Yeah, I was with you half of the time.
I mean, yeah, salute to you for always blessing us on getting us in the Liberty Sphere show.
Yes.
This year was the men's show.
Mm-hmm.
And salute to Sharifa for always blessing us.
Miss Sharifa Murdoch.
Yes, for the green light for us to get in and feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
So I know you was doing live and everything.
Right.
So tell the people, what was like the highlights for you?
I mean, the highlight for me, tell you the truth, was getting salute to Charles for giving us those haircuts.
Free 99 people.
Thank
Free
you. Thank
99.
you. Salute to Suntory, vodka, gin, and whiskey. Sharifa's representing sponsorship from them. Last time it was Brooklyn Gin. Now it's Centauri. After she made her trip to Japan a few months ago. So salute to her for that. You see, she moving and shaking with the people.
Definitely.
That's import-export.
The people do.
You're done now. All right. So other than that now, then was the Low Goose on the Deuce.
Oh yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Yo, Low Goose on the Deuce was a rained out, blessed affair.
Because I've been seeing some comments that people are upset because the Urban Writer won.
I don't know why they been upset at something like that. Shout out to Urban Writer that really did it professionally. Like he watched, he saw and conquered.
Listen,
he came with the motorcycle first of all.
He came with stuff that people don't have.
Right, but other than that, the presentation. The thing about Low Goose on the Deuce is not just your ITs.
Right.
It's your presentation. Now it's like the Players Club of the pimp, you know, the pimp world. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's at the Red Steps and Times Square and all of that. We try to get that kind of set the picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where the RL representatives come up in the rain, two of them, and got some photos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, you should know because you be up there, so you should know if I'm on the wall yet.
Come on.
But yeah, I got a blessed picture. Salute to the original Rudy for pulling me to the side and getting that, capturing that moment. You know what I mean? I needed that. Plug.
Right.
But But Urban Rider did his thing. You know what I'm saying? He had that Monte Carlo leather bag with the leather matching jacket. He had the not touched down yet. I think it's overseas or whatever. That motorcycle jacket. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Then he had the custom made red helmet. You know what I mean? So all of that to say he did his thing. Plus Boston represented Miss Carlos Lauren. You know they family heavy from son to the mother to the father.
Yeah.
But they represented Boston. She came and took head to toe with the equestrian theme, which was crazy. From handbag to the boots to everything, you know, even the jewelry and all of that. So salute to her, and always salute to their son that's always killing it on the gram, you know what I mean? And then we was at Cherries on 216 Malcolm X, represented for cousin James from the Ultimate Team Magnificent Brothers, you know what I'm saying? His birthday was around, so we had a little celebration for him, which was the low vest for St. John's in Utica that we just had yesterday.
And you're forgetting the politics as usual thing was also at Cherries that we went to.
True indeed.
The 50th
Wow,
episode.
I'm forgetting a lot of things. Salute to my man Dark and Lifer for me making the 50th episode of Politics as Usual on the Sessions TV. You know what I mean? And salute to all those podcasts out there. Matter of fact, salute to Sun Low. He was the host of Low Goose on the Deuce for Fly Spread Masters.
Friend of the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to Rack Low for always promoting it and having it crazy and having that international influence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where salute to
Just a feedback.
oh my bad, it's all good. But yeah, salute to Skia, Suicide Sia, and Set Zone.
Oh yeah. He's still in the United States, or?
Nah, they flew back. I think it was Saturday.
Because he used to live here for a little while.
Yeah. Well, he's out there doing very well. You know what I mean? Collecting records. He working at record shops, so he digging in the crates all day, every day, and he's loving it. He brought some vinyl. His last night here, I was vibing with him and Chris. Having some brews and some Jamesons, and doing what we do. You know, salute to them. It was a real, but it was small and intimate. You know what I mean? So I really got to interact with them over there in England and all of that. So been there, rocked that. We're gonna set up some things. We got some things we trying to work out internationally.
Oh boy. Stay tuned.
No doubt.
Stay tuned.
But other than that, I'm blessed and highly favored and just glad to have this Sunday here. And what's going down this Sunday is going to be magnificent. Trust and believe. All right, what up, John Green?
You spoke about, because I was with you half of the time, so
Sure.
I'm not going to reiterate nothing you brought up.
No doubt.
But yeah, just glad to be here. Glad that the person we're speaking to.
No doubt.
It's going to be real interesting to all you entrepreneurs and all you fashion people that want to hear from the people that are the movers and shakers. I'm just going to say one thing. Polo has brought out these hideous shoes. You know the things with the P-wing?
Oh yeah.
Those shoes.
The track sneakers.
They look like Payless shoes with a P-wing patch on them. Like, come on, you can do that. And our co-host, Blake Lawington, he's just going to bat.
He's in awe.
Yeah, he's going to bat.
He's in awe.
But anyway, everything is not hot, people. So, it is what it is. And I've also posted some photos of the fall 2019 stuff that'll be coming out. Everybody's going crazy over this crest bear that I think looks hideous.
Yeah, that's bananas.
So, hey,
you know the type of things we like. Yeah. So keep that close, and then the other stuff, you just put to the side. Like how we go into the store and we pass all the small horsies and all of that.
Right.
So that's how you got to look at that. That's the irrelevant stuff that we're not catching our eye, but everything else is catching our eye. That we gonna be out in these streets looking like a walking work of art.
Right. So I'm just saying, like people, come on. Well, you can see all these pictures on my Instagram. I have it up. It'll be up forever. Check them out. comment, a lot of comments, a lot of good comments. And yeah, I'll have more pictures soon of other stuff that's coming out. But today is not about polo.
Not at all.
Today is about Fila.
Yes.
You know, a brand that I've worn for years. I know Prince, he has a whole bunch of Fila on right now.
That's. Did you know the closet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are lucky to have the Vice President of Heritage and Trend of Fila North America, Louis Colon, is here.
How y'all doing? Peace, peace.
How you doing, Louis? It's been a while, because I remember I spoke to you at Liberty Fairs, proposing you the idea to come on here, because I just thought, you know, like, Fila is awesome, because I just think you guys, you have such a big demographic. It's like, you go in shoes, you got tennis, you got activewear, and I think, you know, I just think with something like that, people need to hear. You know, people don't get to talk to Fila.
Right.
You know, they see stuff, or they see people wearing and stuff like that. So, you know, what's going on with you, brother?
It's a complex brand, right? There's
Right.
many layers to the brand. On part of my side, because the business is a huge global business, what I take care of is the heritage business, which is bringing back some more the original product,
Right.
making it trend relevant to today.
Right.
You know, applying some retail, some product and marketing strategies, and kind of changing the business rhythm of how we do business day to day. The brand is rich. Started in 1911, the mountains of Italy. They were taking water that came from the mountains of Italy to actually make fabric. That's how it started out.
Right.
They were doing underwear and textiles. And what they realized is through the machines, they were able to do this circular system of how to make a polo. So when you look at the board polo, how it's all one unit, and then with the cut and sew arms, that's how it was started. You mentioned the rich history in tennis.
Right.
What's really interesting about the brand, and I think you guys have appreciation for polo and Fila in parallel, just because of the depth that they both have
Right.
in sport and fashion. So outside of tennis, there's basketball. We all know Grant Hill, Stackhouse.
But let's start from the beginning with Borg.
We would start from Borg, right?
Yeah, that stuff is classic.
That's
now.
the one.
To find the
Borg
original stuff.
collection, yes.
Right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then also when you find the real Borg great hits, it had the double box.
Right.
So the double box was the F box with the BJ next to it. So it was always double box. So whenever we do any, and it was something that we brought back to the brand because we had to put some disciplines around the brand. So we said whenever we do any proper collaborations that are global collaborations, we want to make sure we represent that double box, right? The F box meets X partner. Part of my role and part of rethinking and reevaluating the strategy was looking at many brands. Me being a consumer, born in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn kid that knew sports, fashion, music, and just became a fan of it all, lived it all, similar to what you guys did, right? But trying to figure out outside of being a consumer, how can I be a participant? How can I be a part of this thing? So if you look at my history, I started a magazine called Exclusive. It was a way for us to have a voice in the sneaker game, right? We see all these publications when publications were publications,
Sure
right?
did.
And they've evolved, and it's great to see some of this stuff evolve and some of our voices being heard through other platforms. But then I thought there was an interesting opportunity. Did I know how to start or write or edit or create a magazine? No, but that's what my gut told me was the right thing to do. I got some really good people around me, especially my brother. We were able to create something, and we went up to 16 issues. Spoke to some of the best people that are still relevant in the game, from your Bobito to the best stores, from Atmos to Ubik, to people all in the industry that are still around today doing great stuff, right? We thought that was an interesting way, and I think today, where my role is at Fila, we can still do that, right? Just got to use a different platform and a different voice, right? So I started with Kick Lucid magazine. Then I saw there was an opportunity at retail, being the entrepreneur that I am, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a hole, there's women's, right? I knew all the men's shop, everybody's doing a great job killing it, bringing product, presenting it, but then I thought there was a place for a store called Laces. So my store was one of maybe 3 in the country that ever launched with a Nike account. because of the proposition and how I wanted to
That
present
was
the
important
product.
back then for
Right.
a sneaker store to have that.
Right. This was 2005,
Mm.
and I started the magazine 2001.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So this is, you know, I'm aging the shit out of myself, but yeah. But I also started young because I kind of had a passion. I had good people around me.
Sure did.
I had the support.
Strong circle.
Strong circle, and you could do it. So you just need to lead and learn and listen, right?
Yeah.
So that was part of the process of how I got to where I'm at. So that's why I'm giving you a little of that background.
Right.
We need that.
And I lost the store. After 3 years of having the store that presented product, it was on Martin Houston, 3 blocks away from where everybody knows Supreme's at.
Oh, wow.
Hot spot.
So in that whole block, the reason why I went there, the whole block was high-end fashion for women's, whether it was handbags or jewelry, but that was the presentation of footwear that I wanted to have through a women's lens, right? And I also try to find that unique lens, which is, or that unique lane, which is women's. So 2008 came, all the product I was getting, I had Alexander McQueen times Puma, I was the first with the women's creative recreation account, had high-end women's Nike product, and had a bunch of brands still pitching me till the day I closed to get their better product into the store.
Right.
2008 happens, economy collapses, everything on Broadway, from Michael K to Transit to everything, David Z, all the product I was getting in my store is selling for $180, $200. This is like Python blazers, this is fish skin Air Force Ones that women are willing to pay for.
Right.
Like that's a void in the market, I still think underserved today. All that product was half off on Broadway. So between that and the economy, everyone's scaling back, being a little more tight in their pocket.
Right.
Little boutiques are the first to get hit.
Sure indeed.
So by the end of 2008, I had to close. 2009 to 2010, I didn't know what I was doing. Right? I was broke,
Right.
lost it all. Thought I was the guy with the magazine in the store, lost it all.
It's all good.
Still had a strong base, so
No
I
doubt.
was never poor with love. I was just poor in the pockets, right?
Right.
You know,
We
so
how that is.
and then poor with, you know, trying to figure out how to learn from my mistakes.
And not even really poor, but just you couldn't get that quick bounce back as you wanted. You know what I mean? No doubt.
And I didn't prepare for something like 2008 because I was never in that world that 2008 ever happened.
You probably was moving and shaking so good. You just was like, you couldn't see it coming.
Yeah, and then there was definitely, I look back, there was some mistakes because I could have gave myself, and this is also playing Monday morning quarterback, right? I already had plans and designs for a brand called Laces for women's, streetwear brand. It was like, you know, going up against some of the better streetwear brands, but I was also trying to be a perfectionist and saying, all right, I got the store, I got the product. All I need to do is look at the line sheets and look at where fashion's going, I can make a line, right? 2008 happens, I'm like, all right, I sat on this way too long, right? So, you know, lesson learned, moved on, had a little stint out of 2010, right before 2010 with New Balance, took the opportunity up there to just do this, just to do a fill-in role. They needed somebody to develop footwear. And I was like, between losing the store and New Balance, I was like, am I going to become a firefighter? What am I going to do? Am I going to go to retail? What am I going to do? Because
he was in limbo.
I was in limbo, right? And I was in debt. So I was like, what am I doing, right? Like, where am I going next?
Like you feel like you're back up against the wall.
100%.
But you know, at the end of the day, God don't give you more than you can handle, bro.
That's true. That's,
You know
all,
what I
that's
mean?
all facts, right?
So no doubt, salute to what you're doing. Go ahead with your story.
And being in Bed-Stuy, like my parents, like I had to tap them, like, yo, I just need $5 to speak, right? Like, got a cell phone bill to pay for, and that's my world.
That's
right?
your lifeline.
That was my lifeline,
No
my
doubt.
connection. So I was doing a couple parties here and there. You know, everybody knows Voodoo Ray, rest in peace.
Rest in
Voodoo
peace.
Ray.
That's
You know, he was a great dude. We used to do joints together. You hit me, come on. So that world was my immediate, like, all right, I need to get something in my pocket. It was great. I would never take back those days, but it came out of essence of necessity, right? Like I needed to do it. You know, Voodoo Ray, that was their world, and I was just the guy coming in with a crew of new people coming into that world and just having some fun, making a little paper on the side. So went from there and went to Boston. One of my best friends, Dauda, was managing Clinton Sparks at the time. He had a place.
Dawood from Bed-Stuy?
No, that's Dauda. My other man, Dauda. Another Dauda from Bed-Stuy as well, but a different Dauda. I know Dauda. So I told him, hey, yo, I got this thing, but damn, I don't got no bread. He was like, just stay in my house. Here's my car keys. I'm only here 2 days a week because I'm going to LA, I'm going everywhere, I'm going to Vegas. So luckily for family, friends, I was able to go take that gig, then go from there and parlay that and see this opening as a developer, right, at Fila, because I was trying to get any possible job I could get in the footwear industry.
Right.
Would have been a male person. I would have been like, all right, I'm in the building,
Yeah.
right?
That's
like
it.
I'm working at
That's how you do it.
Rockport. I don't care where I'm working. I'm in the building somehow, and my skill set and what I've learned over that maybe almost 10 years
Would help you.
would help, right? And not only that, me being a consumer and me being growing up in the city
You know.
and shopping all these years and having the history of how it's relevant to music and sports and fashion and culture, I knew for sure somehow this is gonna be relevant to whatever I do next. I just have to get in the building, right? And I didn't have the pleasure or the advantage that my uncle worked at the building in the company
Yeah,
or
but
something.
see what you did have, and what a lot of entrepreneurs, I mean, we didn't talk to a lot of them, is that hustler's mentality.
Right.
It's like if one door didn't open up for you, you was opening up another door, and if that one, you just kept on going. Like it just seemed like to me, like just that mentality is important. That's what a lot of the younger generation, that's what they don't have. They don't have a hustler mentality. They just think mom and dad's gonna give it to them, or if this job doesn't work, then I just got to, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be a struggling artist.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It's important. I mean, you can go in your story, but it's important that I see it. Like, you're just like, okay, this didn't work. Bam, I'm doing this. Oh, this didn't work. Oh, I'll be a mailman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You probably would have worked at McDonald's if you had to. You get where you had to go.
Yeah, I was 15. I worked in McDonald's.
Yeah,
Right, like, it happened. That was real. But then from 15, me working at McDonald's and food, I ended up working in Sugar Hill in Best Side from 16 to 18.
Right.
Shout out to Sugar Hill. They
Shout out to
still be
Sugar Hill.
having their parties and all of that right up to this day.
I know Mr. Freeman, his son Aaron. We
Yeah,
know them
I
my
know
whole
Aaron
life.
too.
I know them my
Aaron
whole
do
life.
construction. I used to work for Aaron, putting up sheetrock. So
Yeah,
that's
they
how
have
I
two-
met Aaron.
They have 2 huge buildings that they're from
No
property
doubt.
that they had around the way
Exactly.
on DeKalb. So that leads us to the bigger story, right? Like I think what you're talking about is right, but I also think that today's a different time where information is more free.
Right.
There's more distraction, but
Right.
the information's there.
Right.
I don't know if and it's not like woe is me, but like we didn't have that much information of how to get into footwear. That's why I think what you guys are doing here with Sean, we talked about Sean Paper Chaser.
definitely.
What all these guys are doing is serving up information. And how you digest that, how you take that, how you interpret it is totally up to you. But I don't think when we were coming up we had all that information.
Yeah.
We were out there digging
Right.
and being ambassadors of brands
Right.
without these brands actually paying us.
Saluting us for what we was doing in them
100%.
streets.
100%.
I respect
And now
it.
it's come around that they're giving some acknowledgement to.
Oh, yeah, they're
to-
doing, oh.
Yeah.
Nah,
But they're also
yeah.
using it as marketing ploys, so don't ever
Right.
get it twisted, right? Like,
Mhm.
but I think it's an opportunity for young kids today. I don't care where you're from. You could be from Ohio, you could be from Sacramento, from Brooklyn, from Miami. It's an opportunity, right? You can make product yourself now. You don't need to buy a brand. You can be your own brand, right?
Mhm.
Like, and I'm being 100% honest. Like that's that's the opportunity that we didn't have. I didn't have a China Connect to start my own sneaker company or a clothing company, right? That the Garmentos own that, right?
Right.
And the sneaker companies own that. So that leads me to parlaying and saying I took the opportunity to learn how to be a developer and actually look at. I don't just love sneakers and write about it and know about it, make a magazine and sell it and work with these accounts to buy it from them and resell it to a consumer. Now I know it on a granular level, right? Like how to build a shoe,
True indeed.
right? Like I remember going to New Balance and they gave me like actual literature of how like vulcanization process, right? Like how do you create a vulcanized shoe, right?
Like playbooks.
The playbooks, yeah. And this is stuff that now you could go online and find.
Right.
But I'm talking about I had the printed
I got you.
versions
I
that
got you.
that had hard covers on it, right? This is gems. This is what I felt like that time in my life was getting my MBA and my doctorate in footwear and fashion and the business of it.
But
right?
not,
Even with the downturn.
not
like,
even just on the books, but hands-on though.
right.
No doubt.
And if you think about like when you get your MD, right?
Mhm.
If you become a doctor,
Mhm.
you're going to school for a certain amount of time. The last 2 years, you're getting handled. You're not even a doctor yet, but you're on the floor.
You in the field.
You're in the field. So that's where
your internship.
Yeah, your internship, and you're working with professional doctors
Exactly.
that are watching you and making sure. Like our friend's a good example. She's an OBGYN, but like she had to go through
No doubt.
being on the floor with doctors to tell you what to do. So I feel like, you know, not to make an A to A comparison, but you know, I feel like there's some similarities there of what, you know, my trajectory was and what I went through, and I had to learn on the ground, right?
No doubt.
And I think, you know, it definitely applies to Fila because when I got there, John Epstein was the president. He's a visionary, right? Like he's a true visionary. He's one of the best people I've ever learned for. If I go back to the analogy of being a doctor on the floor, he was the resident doctor.
No doubt.
You know, teaching me the right way.
Right.
He trapped John MD.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So he saw that I understood. I understood what everybody calls the culture now, but I understood the streets. Right. I'd rather say the streets because it does come from the streets.
Right.
I understood with the relevancy again to the '90s, to music, to fashion, to the culture, whether that's art and everything. And I was able to apply that to Fila to see what opportunities, right? Because I think as minorities and being we look at things opportunistically, right?
Yeah.
We look to see what lane isn't filled, right? Because to be fair, you know, and I always go back to people, to be fair, why would I do anything at NBA All-Star? It's the Nike Basketball Association, right? And I've been to the All-Star as a fan, right? I've been to All-Star Denver, All-Star LA, and I have fun, right? Like I went there as a consumer. Now I put in my business hat on, I was like, why would I take a brand there that has there's no commercial,
no connection.
there's no return there, right? You just become clouded in a bunch of noise from every brand that wants to own the consumer's mind, right? So people are like, why we don't do something? I've had like thousands of people. Why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? Because it's the same playbook that they understand from every one of the top brands. So I was able to think about the brand differently and go back and say, what they're doing is great.
Right.
They already own the space. How do we look at the timeline? How do we look at product differently? How do we look at marketing differently? So that's a part of my role at Fila in bringing this back.
Right.
I'm going to say quote unquote back.
So,
go ahead.
So with the bringing back though, I wanted to, and I'm hearing a lot of with the Bed-Stuy and your heritage in Bed-Stuy, like with the Brooklyn Circus and Fila,
Ouija's my guy.
No
like,
doubt.
Ouija's my guy.
Talk about it.
No, Ouija's my guy. We did a little project last year.
No doubt.
He was doing the Brooklyn Library. He was doing a runway show. So he hits me, he's like, Lou, can we do some shoes? And I'm like, yeah. So we were able to build, just to back up, what we were able to build in China, in our sample shop. It's a sample shop, so I'm able to have an advantage, again, in the market. Find out where there's a lane and where we can fill it.
Okay.
So part of that is saying, okay, Ouija wants to do 24 pairs. If I were to go to a regular factory, they're telling me my minimum is 1,200, 2,400 pairs, right? They don't have enough fabric, they don't have the bottoms, they don't have enough people, they don't have time. We made a workshop with John, the president, and his leadership of creating a workshop that can make sample runs and runs of 300s or 24. So now I'm able to go back and say, got it. Now I could go to collab partners. I could be like, what you got going? Because I don't have the traditional marketing push. But what I could do is I connect with the right brands, the right associations, the right markets, the right niche communities.
No doubt.
And that are doing things authentically in their space that get credibility. And when you associate that credibility, you get it too.
Yes.
Right? So Fila gets automatic credibility because my man, Ouija, tapped me.
International.
That's international. It hits me to be like, hey, we'd love to do something with you. Can we do something with we do something for this event? And then I say
no
all right, let me get the troops together. Let me see if there's enough time to execute. And if there is enough time, and it does make sense for the brand, keeping my brand hat now, not just a friend hat.
Of course.
And knowing that he may know something I don't know, having that trust and that leap of faith, right? And then go and say, okay, let's do it, right? So when he did his collab with Fila, it was 2006, and I wasn't in the building yet. 2006 is actually when the company went under, and 2007 to 2008 is when John Epstein and the chairman Yoon from Korea bought back the brand globally.
Gotcha.
And they bought back the brand and licensed it off to all the different regions around the world.
Oh, okay.
So that's how it was restructured and actually brought back, because they were losing millions of dollars per month from like '05 to '07, and it was totally in the red.
Gotcha.
John and Chairman Yu did a genius move of how they structured the business and how they did sourcing, going back to the China side, and how all the licensees then source through us to actually produce in their regions.
Gotcha.
But you can even see the products look different now. It's like, and the presentation is even different now. Not like it, you know, it used to be, you know, to me it used to be a little bit generic, but now it's like with Fila, it's like, it's more like, you know what I'm saying, it's eye-catching. Like you got, you know what I'm saying, stuff going on with that. But, you know, you run, you know, heritage and trend. What basically, what's the word? What makes you choose to bring something back into the consumer's eye? Like, is it something that you like, or is it something that you do like research, or?
It's a mixture, right? So of course, it's probably something I like, but then I also take myself out as a consumer, right? Like, I can't be the consumer. I'm wearing all black with a hoodie and jeans. I mean, I gotta take myself out as a consumer and realize who the consumer and the evangelist for the brand really is, right? Also, my first step in my checklist of what we're going to do next is actually seeing if we're credible in that space, right? Like, are we credible in, we just talked about outdoor, we talk about ski, we talk about a bunch of different categories. I'm able to have the luxury of going to Italy to our museum and go through that and just dig.
Oh, wow.
So you be seeing the classic, the high top, there was like, the leather was crazy on them. It was cream, but they was high top, but it had 2 straps at the top.
2 straps?
Or was it 1 strap?
1 strap.
Not the F1 joints, not those.
Another one.
Another one, but these was from back in the 80s. I gotta find it and shoot you a picture, bro, because yo, those was, they came in with the cream when the cream first dropped. So I remember those perfectly, but I definitely gotta shoot you a picture.
Yeah, shoot a
but
picture.
back to Best Style, Do or Die, check it. So how the Mano connection got with Mano pushing that brand heavy in Best Style and the resurgence when Mano was out here representing that Fila was crazy. So shout out to him for doing that.
Shout out to Mano for sure. I mean, that connection, it was Mano independently saying, I'm putting Fila on my back.
Bang.
And I'm just gonna rock this the whole summer. And he lives 6 blocks away from my family, right? Like, but there was never like a me and him connection. You know, you could be on one side of an area, another person another, and no connection. But he did it himself, and I give him total credit for that. He said, "I'm putting it on my back."
I like how he said that. I ain't mean to cut you off, but you know, man, people be doing that. They be 6 blocks away like that, and be like, "Yo, I know him for mad years, but I was 6 blocks away, but you ain't really know me."
Yeah.
You wasn't really hanging on Church Drive like that.
Yeah.
You was there, but you wasn't dead. You know what I mean? There's a difference. You there, but you're not dead.
Yeah.
But go back to your story.
That's like,
love it. Sorry.
So Jay, like my family lives on Note Street, so Marcy's 3 blocks away. Right? I could never say I hung out with Jay and Gleek. Like, I see them. Yeah, I saw them, and I was like, oh shit, that's them, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's an association, and that whole pool of influence is there, for sure. But going back to Mano, he did it himself. We had to connect, the Connect plugged us in. Shout out to Elijah, he connected us. We had a project with Mind Blower. I was trying to figure out a way to bring back the Mind Blower on a global level, right? So part of, again, going back to that I prefaced with the factory. So what it did was I reached out to all the licensees around the world. I said, listen, this is the next platform. Because heritage is umbrella, right? Heritage is an umbrella category that under it has a bunch of subcategories.
Right.
Whether it's tennis or basketball or outdoor or fitness or whatever it is, right? So we wanted to open up the retro running category. We knew it was going to continue to be hot. We knew we have authenticity in it because if I show you the catalogs, like starting from like 92 to 2000 and whatever, there's thousands of shoes that was out, right?
What's up with that error, man? 92 is always in a brand's yearly category or whatever. That 92 is always a popping year.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it too, if you look at the design elements from that, like I want to say 4 to 6 years, it was definitely pushing boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And blending sport and fashion, which is basically the mantra I put forward for Fila now.
No doubt.
It's like whatever we do, again, when you to your question of how do we make the decision,
Right.
it's always what's in fashion or what's authentically us in sport. And we want to make sure we tell the story in sport, and then also have the information there for people to discover. Because I think kids today or youth today want to discover brands that are authentic and real.
Yeah.
They have too many of the fast fashion brands, right?
Indeed.
You don't want to be just another fast fashion brand making another t-shirt cut, right?
Right.
But there's no roots behind it, right? They know that their dollar's worth something. I think, you know, we could probably debate this for hours, but I think this is the most educated consumer ever.
No, I agree.
Right?
No, I agree with you.
And they're digging into stuff, and they're looking at quality and fabrications, and they're traveling the world more than anybody's ever had. So I think now, why do you think you have this vintage craze? Like, these kids are actually fueling it, right? Like, they're fueling it because they want to buy, but they will still buy $40, you know, Uniqlo jeans. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Nah, mix it up.
Mix it up.
Mix it up a little, please. Yeah.
And if you look at what luxury and streets mean, you have, you know, Montclair $1,000 jackets with $100 jeans, and you never had that. It was either the Montclair, everything you rock was $1,000 or better, right? Now it's a mixture. And there's also, again, with Instagram and the socialness of it all, I think people have learned that they could become ambassadors for brands and ambassadors for who they are, and they can have fashion speak for them. Back in the day, I remember I can never say I was a lowhead, I was always a fan of it.
No doubt.
But I loved how lowheads, they would always take pictures. Always. Every lowhead would always document everything.
Capture that moment.
Right?
No doubt.
And that's literally Instagram 1.0, if you think about it, right? Like, that is it.
Indeed.
So if you take that, how relevant that is to culture and the culture, and now you go exponentially larger on a platform on your phone, you know, I think what we have to do is just give, as Fila as the brand has to give the tools for our kids to discover the brand, and that's also partnering with the right retailers, having the right retail story, right, and presentation, having the right product stories through our Instagram and through any of our platforms, and actually being authentic to the brand. And I tell people internally, and I tell retailers all the time, there's trends that are going to pass us, and we'll be fine with that, right? We have to either be ahead of it, be on time with it, and it has to be ours, right? And I don't mind being too early, because the people that were too early, you still get a little bit of credit for, right?
Let them play catch up.
Let them play catch up, because there's just things that we won't be able to do, and I'm fine with that, right? Like, we won't be able to sign LeBron. LeBron's the greatest athlete, in my opinion, ever, right? But we can't play in that world,
But you can dance or sign Prince Lodo.
Yeah.
little plug there.
Little plug.
Yeah, but check it. I didn't mean to cut you off, John, but now talking about like back in the days and all of that, and capturing that moment, you bringing back that era with the Fendi and the Fila.
Right.
That collabo is catching fire right now everywhere. And like you said, y'all not. Remember you were saying prior that y'all couldn't get in the NBA now?
Right.
But now you got Gucci Man and them in the front row with the Fendi Fila on.
Winning and proud.
You know what I mean? So you're not on the athlete's feet, but you on them, you know what I mean? The people, that's the people.
But
I salute you for that.
Thank you.
No doubt.
But I'll say two things about that. I'll break down the collab strategy, right? But before I do that, I'll tell you, NBA, we actually do have some players. But it's not something that we put it out and make a press release about.
Right.
What it is that players like DJ Augustine in Orlando, and there's been others, are choosing to wear Fila.
Right.
Literally choosing to buy stuff off the shelf, and then there are people who reach out to us, and part of Fila's, what we are now today and how we do business differently, we're able to customize.
So it's organic.
So it's organic pull.
Right.
It's not a push.
That's the best pull.
It's not even a push. We're not pushing this to NBA players like come to Fila.
Right.
We're gonna sign you like an Anta deal or something with Klay Thompson. No, it's different. We're gonna be able to lace you with some new fresh looks all the time. We're gonna be a partner with you, a real partner. So we'll do custom shoes for you. We'll fit it. We'll form fit it to your foot. Give us your sock liner, because they all have like the professional orthotic sock liners.
Right.
Tell us what you need and what's comfort, and will it have a connection to heritage and stuff we sell? Most likely. Will it be commercial? Probably not, right? Like we're not gonna now sell that in every store, the shoe that DJ Augustine's wearing.
Right.
But it should have some connection to what we do sell and what's a part of our line, right? So there is that. And then on the flip side, you have your front row, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your front row, part of building all these collabs is basically 3 tiers. So the top tier, which we landed successfully with Fendi, is like how do we work with high fashion, right? So that is something that we look to do every year.
Nice.
Globally, it has a global effect for all of our partners, right? So Fendi, the way that started was, the backstory is that there was a Parisian street artist that was doing the Fendi with the Fila font. It was just selling T-shirts. Fendi reaches out to our legal, which is our COO. Hey, this is illegal. We're gonna send you a cease and desist. We said, they hit me up. The COO was like, what is this? It's like, that's not us.
Right.
Sent it back. Hey, that wasn't us. Hands off. They're like, what should we do? Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Like this person on the street is making us relevant, right?
Exactly.
It's not being sold in mass. Don't worry about it. So then Fendi reaches out and we reach out and we have the conversation about, should this be a proper collab? Like, if this kid is selling T-shirts.
Man, I thought it was perfect though.
And it is. It's just, in the absence that we didn't think about it, somebody else thought about it and they did get credit for it. So it's never like we just took the idea. They did get credit for it. And then it became Fendi Mania, right? Like it became a collection. Karl Lagerfeld, 2 days before the show, hit us and told us the pieces that they were selecting because we had no idea. We saw the art, but we didn't know what was going to hit the runway. And what hits the runway then goes to the showroom, and that's what they sell in. Then our accounts like Barney's and Saks and everybody's hitting us like, oh yeah, we're bringing that in. We're like, oh shit, all right. It hit. First season hit, there was only small amount, small capsule. It grew to men's and women's. First it was just women's. T-shirt, like a mink top, and a couple key pieces that were fire. Then it became evolved into a full collection with a campaign behind it. And then it became a bigger conversation where Fendi's now shouting out Fila and saying, because the first time a lot of the people on the ground, you can't really blame the people in the floor, on the floor at the Fendi shops, but they didn't get the memo that this was like a real collab. Like, this is a partnership, guys. Like, so
it's
finally,
it's real.
It's real. Like, and then I was reading IG for like at least a month or two, and I was seeing everybody saying, why isn't Fila suing Fendi? And they just didn't get it.
Right.
You know, you gotta give some time for people to digest because it was that different to everyone. So that'll keep working. We were working on some other partners for, you know, the next couple of years. I think the next couple will be home runs as well. And that takes care of like that top tier, right? They do the distribution. We let them interpret the brand. We have right of refusal, right? To say that they're not destroying our brand, but you know, it's a partnership. But they do the distro. They put the prices. They have a consumer base for it. Kill it. The middle part of it is we have some wider retailer now, right? We got a scale and a volume, but we have wider retail. You have your Champs and Foot Locker. You have your Urban Outfitters. So with those guys, we create special collabs for them as well. Special projects, special collabs, special SMUs. And now that's starting to work and work well.
Yeah,
right?
Because they did the Pierre Cardin one I was telling you about.
Yeah, that was dope.
I enjoyed that one.
With the polka dots.
The polka dot hat.
That's the joint.
Yeah, so that was a perfect collab that sits there. It's not small, it's bigger, it still has a real unique story, and it still freshens up retail. Because part of our goal as a brand is to provide the retailer with freshness on the floor. And part of that is being opportunistic, looking at the timeline of the fashion timeline, quote unquote. What's your back to school, what's your holiday, and figure out what's in between that. Because the consumer doesn't just stop shopping because back to school is over, right? Like, they still go to shop in October, but you still gotta give them some fire, right? Like, you gotta put stuff on the floor.
No doubt.
So we aim to be that goal that continually looks at opportunities outside of your Super Bowl and the key dates, right? And figure out where we could put in some stories with the right partners. So you mentioned that expedition with Urban Outfitters.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the kids love that line because the colors just pop. Like he has it's like a suit, and it has the big rubber patch. Like he loves it. He just loves it's the colors, man. Y'all got like a purple reddish thing.
With that blue grounded under, and the black. I mean, and that's the whole thing. We built credibility and we built this platform, right, to speak to consumers and speak to that younger audience. We all know the brand, right? We all know the brand. We all give it props already. We love the history. We love what it represents to us. But by changing the business of it was actually talking to the younger crowd and getting them to be ambassadors for the brand.
So did you? Was it an intentional thing? Because like the stuff I see in Urban Outfitters, I don't see at like a Macy's or Bloomingdale's.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's geared towards the younger kids.
100%.
Honestly, like I mean, it seems like
as it should.
No, it should, but
cause we already are the consumers from the '80s on.
Right.
Everybody else, you need to, like we said, make them catch up to what we already know is that style. You know what I mean? So you got to catch that younger audience eyes on whatever it is, and then the older heads gonna catch up. Like, nah, young boy, I need that last polka dot hat.
No, it's 100% right because you got to look and again, running this business, there's different maturities for different retailers, and there's also different consumers for different retailers. So that middle ground. When I say middle, is just because it's wider. It's still special and it's still good collabs. It doesn't sit exclusively in the top tier, but it sits in that middle. So now that's established and we got those things running. You mentioned the WWE. We have something special coming there that sits in the middle. I'll let you guys know when that's coming. So think about WrestleMania time. I'll give you guys a heads up on that. So again, that sits right there. And it's a bigger distribution, but it's still special. Then the other part that got us to the party was honestly thinking about how do we use that space in our workshop to find and procure the smaller collaborations, right? The stuff that's 2 years ahead. Like this ain't the brand yet, but it's gonna be the brand that's next.
Right.
This ain't the artist yet.
Foreseeing it. Right.
And also thinking about collaborations, and I think a lot of other brands, no shots at nobody, but like they go the easy route. They go the route of the most relevant sneaker shop, the most relevant guy or brand or artist. I'm out on that, right? Like
I agree with him 110%.
True indeed.
I'm out on that because if they weren't rocking with the brand before they were the guy or the shop or the personality, then it's not really real, right? Like it's not authentic, right? They might have an appreciation for the brand, but if they weren't rocking with it from before, then I'd rather rock with somebody that's willing to do it now. And do something special. So my mind, especially over the last couple of months, has thought about I have to get back to that, right? I have to get back because we were established the other two levels. We got to establish that smaller level. How do we do some fun, energetic, using or partnering with collab partners that can think about the brand in a different way? Because I'm almost 40 years old. I can't think of all the freshest things that are interpretations of the brand. You got to trust that they are brands, because I remember doing the Lamar and Dolly collab. They thought about the cage in a totally different way. I remember doing the Sweet Chick collab. That was like, who's doing a chicken and waffles collab in the game, right? But they took the cage and they took it to another level as well. So you think about all these collabs and these partners and really try to like curate something that's very small, special, limited, and not limited just for limited sake, but limited because these guys don't have big reaches. Right? When you do something with Champs, they have a big reach. You do something with Foot Locker, they have a big reach, so you gotta serve this big audience. But when you're talking to these small audiences, you wanna make it special enough that they can be proud of it, right? And the consumer is like, yeah, I fuck with this. Take a picture with it, do it, and now they're influencing their circle. So if you, and it sounds corny, but if you influence the influencer, you're like a skyrocket because everybody wants to fuck with you.
Exactly, because everybody see him, he got it going on, he's wearing it, and they're like, oh no, I gotta have that too.
Yeah, so like we did a Liberty Fairs. You gotta mention Liberty Fairs at the top of the show. Sharif is the homie.
No doubt.
Love her. She was like, what can we do together? I said, why not? Let's dress up your team. He said, really? We could do that? I said, yeah, but we could also do some custom shoes.
You did a shoe for her too.
Yep, we did a tennis shoe, a tennis knit shoe. So a lightweight tennis shoe using the same tennis bottom, and then we did embroidery Liberty Fairs on the medial side, right? Limited pairs wasn't even for sale. I just went to the president and said, hey, I need this little budget.